After viewing this training, we hope that you will have a better understanding of substance use among young people and the impact substances can have on your athletes. By the end of this module, you will understand how tobacco, marijuana, alcohol, and prescription drugs are used by youth, how they impact athletic performance, have what you need to talk to youth about substance use, and understand how substance use policies can impact athletic participation. Let's look at what's happening in Boulder County. As you can see, high school students are trying alcohol more than other substances. And vaping has become very popular. About half of high school students have tried vaping, and about 1/3 currently vape. Substance use is still too high among Colorado youth. As a coach, you are in a unique position to influence your athletes. You have the power to make a strong, positive impact on your student athletes, especially around the decision to avoid substance use. They look to you as a role model and as a parental figure outside the home. The influence of adults makes a difference. The data tells us that high school students who can talk to a parent are less likely to try substances. This is true for all substances. You can make an impact on the substance use choices of the athletes you coach. So you've seen how youth are using substances. Now let's talk about how substance use impacts athletic performance. Many substances impact athletic performance. First, let's talk about the impacts of tobacco use. Cigarette use harms the heart and lungs. Because the impact is immediate, it directly affects athletic performance for both endurance and non-endurance athletes. When lung function is impaired, the muscles and brain do not receive enough oxygen to function at their best. When the body does not receive enough oxygen, the heart is overworked trying to compensate. As a result, the resting heart rate of a smoker is on average much higher than that of a non-smoker. A higher heart rate can make any athletic activity dangerous. Constricted blood flow weakens bone and connective tissue, making smokers much more susceptible to injury. This same effect reduces the body's ability to heal itself, so that smokers take longer to recover from injuries, workouts, or competition. Nicotine from cigarettes also suppresses appetite and can subsequently reduce an athlete's ability to build muscle and maintain a healthy body weight. Smokeless tobacco can impact athletic performance because it has the most nicotine of all tobacco products. Athletes more often use smokeless tobacco instead of cigarettes. In fact, use among athletes is as high or higher than use in the general population. Smokeless tobacco bypasses the lungs, but it is still detrimental to athletic performance. Because the level of nicotine in smokeless tobacco products is often greater than in conventional cigarettes, the detrimental effects of nicotine are amplified. Electronic smoking devices, or e-cigarettes, are also considered a tobacco product and are just as harmful to performance as conventional cigarettes or smokeless tobacco products. Most liquids used in e-cigarette cartridges contain nicotine, so e-cigarettes can cause all of the same detrimental effects of nicotine in other tobacco products. The aerosol from e-cigarettes is still being researched, but early studies have found dangerous chemicals like formaldehyde. Many different substances can be vaped using an e-cigarette, including marijuana. Next, let's talk about alcohol. Rates of binge drinking tend to be higher for student athletes, and athletes participating in team sports tend to binge drink more than athletes in individual sports. While athletes are training, they are more likely to abstain from drinking when they're not competing. So, talking to your athletes at the end of the season and off-season about how drinking can impact their athletic performance in the long term can make a huge difference. Alcohol has mental and physical impact on athletic performance. It impairs decision-making, can contribute to a lower GPA, and cognitive impairment can last up to 48 hours after heavy drinking. It also can increase fatigue, impair muscle development and recovery, and cause dehydration, which increases the risk for cramping. Now let's move on to marijuana. There's a lot of conflicting information about how marijuana can impact athletic performance. Marijuana can act as a stimulant or a depressant depending on the type and amount. It can raise the heart rate by 20 to 100% soon after smoking, while also slowing reaction time and impairing motor coordination. Marijuana is listed on the World Anti-Doping Agency's list of prohibited substances for professional athletes. This is because it has the potential to enhance performance by relaxing muscle, reducing pain during recovery, and reducing anxiety and tension. It can also increase focus and risk-taking behaviors. These effects may be tempting to athletes. You can help them find healthier alternatives. Talk to them about healthy relaxation techniques, strategies to reduce anxiety, methods to improve recovery, and ways to improve focus during games and competitions. Lastly, let's talk about prescription opioids. According to Safe Kids Worldwide, 90% of student athletes reported experiencing some type of sports-related injury, and 54% reported continuing to play while injured. Your student athletes may be prescribed opioids to manage pain after a sports injury, which could be misused. Some signs that your student athlete might be misusing opioids include intoxicated behavior like slurred speech, small pupils, shallow or slow breathing, euphoria, nausea, vomiting, or not feeling pain. Allow your athletes the proper time to heal. Keep lines of communication open between you, the athlete, their doctor, and their caregivers. They may feel isolated when they're not able to participate, so talk to them about how they can stay involved with the team while they're recovering. Preventing injuries is one way to help youth avoid taking opioids. Be sure to ease athletes back into training after long breaks, or give students exercises they can do to get their bodies prepared before the season starts. Encourage and provide opportunities for cross-training. Make sure they're using correct techniques for strength building, and make sure they're wearing appropriate protective equipment. It's your responsibility to know your school and community policies related to substance use. There may be several levels of policy. Your job as a coach and trusted adult in the community is to enforce these policies consistently and talk openly with your student athletes. Substance use and an athletic future are not compatible. Many high school athletes want athletics to be a part of their future, whether at the college or professional level. You as a coach are charged with setting them up well for this future without drugs. The NCAA bans tobacco and marijuana use. The World Anti-Doping Agency currently bans marijuana use and has nicotine on its watch list. Nicotine will most likely be banned in the future, with many professional leagues following suit. Now you have the information you need to help your student athletes. Here are some tips for talking with your students about substance use. Sometimes it may feel like youth aren't listening, but research shows that they are. What you think and do matters to the young people in your life. As an adult they trust, you can impact their choices. What you say and the example you set make a difference. Listen, make them feel heard. Consider their opinions and keep the conversation going. Even if you've talked about this topic before, their issues and opinions change all the time. Focus on positive messages. Encourage them to make choices that help them achieve their goals. Set clear rules. Make family, school, and sports team rules clear and stick to them. Let them know what will happen if they don't follow them. Remind them they're role models to other youth, that younger students and siblings look up to them. How would they feel if a younger sibling became addicted to vaping? Not everyone is doing it. It's easier to say no to peer pressure if they know not everyone is doing it. Let them know that most high school and middle school students don't drink alcohol, use marijuana, or take prescription drugs without a prescription. And more than half of high school and middle school students have never vaped. Share the science. Despite what teens may hear, using alcohol and drugs is not harmless. Explain how they can impact their athletic performance and their chances to participate in athletics. Your personal use of substances has an influence on your students' current and future use, especially if you use substances around them. You have tremendous influence. Young people look to you as a role model. Research shows that your athletes will not do as you say, they will do as you do. When you use or talk favorably about substances around your athletes, you normalize that behavior. Practice what you preach. Seemingly small things can normalize substance use. For example, smoking in the parking lot before practice or drinking during an overnight tournament. How you talk about substance use also influences your athletes, like how you use it socially or to relax. This also includes what you put on social media. You can also help by promoting positive skills, opportunities, and relationships to help your athletes reach their full potential. Some examples are promoting a sense of safety, appropriate structure, supportive relationships, opportunities to belong, promoting positive social norms, providing responsibilities and challenges and opportunities to build skills. It's also important to coordinate between family, school, and community groups and organizations. The work you do is so important to the lives of young people. Thank you for all that you do. Here are a few other resources to check out if you're interested in learning more.